Hello and welcome to Viches. My name is Naiditsch and today with us Grandmaster David Shengelia that is going to show us some great positions that we can learn from. David, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi Arkady, I'm doing very well. Hello to everybody. Hello to your spectators. Hello to Witches
Yes,
guests.
thank you, David. We are very happy to have you once again on our channel, and David will be presenting some positional ideas from famous games. In the first game, we have Capablanca, Jose Raul. I guess known to all of you playing against Winter Williams. We are starting from move 10 because what happened before is not so crucial for the current game. We will see beautiful positional ideas that we can use in our own practical games. We have a great selection for you today, so it's gonna be 100% educational streams, no rapid games, but today we learn from the greatest chess players of the history. First game, Capablanca, Jose Raul with the black pieces. David, let's start. So we're starting at move 10. Let's go move by move. Explain us what is going to happen next, what are the plans, what we can learn from, etc., etc. David, let's go,
Yeah,
let's go. By the way,
yes, Arkady,
David,
yes,
just 1 second. We
please.
have the usual greeting from the chat. First today, to say in the chat hello to us is Bean. Welcome, Bean, always with us. We have Heidi BM second with a good morning. And the third is actually Max Burkhardt. Welcome everyone. I Play Chess Live also here with us. Excellent. I hope you will be enjoying the current stream. Something else? Grandmaster David Shengelia, the floor is yours. Let's go.
Yeah, Arkady, one more time, hello to your guests. Hello to people in chat. And yeah, let's start. As you already mentioned, for today we have great collection. We prepared for you games from Chess Classic. And yeah, guys, I would recommend you to check classical games, review them. It's really interesting. And most of them, we have a lot of world champions for today. We have just great players from different times. So let's start. Yeah,
Let's
some
go.
positions. Yeah, it's about bad and good pieces, and Capablanca in this game showed great understanding. And we will go now step by step. Think, guys, black to move. Arkady, maybe we better to flip the board, or should we stay leave it
No,
like
I
that?
think we stay with the winner
Okay.
side. It's better. We are winners here on the channel, so we have to go with the winner side.
Okay. Yeah, because I see it from white side, or should we wait? Okay.
Let's go, David.
Okay, let's go. Good, guys. So, black to move. And what do you think? What Capablanca did play here and why? Think about, yeah, we already mentioned it's about good and bad pieces.
Yes,
Yeah.
and actually it feels very good for me not playing this rapid games because the tension is so high. Now I can enjoy the stream the way you are enjoying here in the chat, just relaxing. We have the cinema atmosphere. I am just listening. This is nice. Okay, so black to play, you can suggest your opinions in the chat. Please try to think about the strategy because obviously this is about strategy here. What should be the strategy? What could be played next? What we should aim for? So very, very important first to make the strategy. Secondary, we will be aiming for execution of our strategy. Okay, David, I think let's go with the first moves and then let's see.
Let's go and let's see. And one question to Arkady, you said that you have some cinema atmosphere there.
Yes.
Do you have popcorn and some nice drinks?
Just water
Yeah.
during the stream.
Just water during the stream. That's good. So, guys, the best move here Capablanca played is G5. G5, and why? Okay, before we play G5, for sure, the first move we have to calculate is knight takes G5, because if knight takes G5 forks after G5, then G5 will be just big mistake. Because what idea of knight G5 takes, and HG bishop G5, for example, and now F6 is hanging, so bishop E6, E7 would be only move. And I think after knight takes E7 and queen takes E7, F4, for example, white has just winning. Yeah, white's winning, I guess. Yeah. So
Yes, this
some
pin is
ideas.
looking deadly. This pin is
Yeah.
looking deadly. The rook can get here over f3 to g3. Yeah, this is looking
And
like
this
a very,
pin
very
is,
dangerous attack.
yeah. Yeah, this is deadly pin. But okay, for sure, Capablanca didn't blunder it. He had some idea after taking knight takes g5. So what do you think? What was the Capablanca's idea? And why knight takes g5 doesn't work? Yeah.
Yes, this is actually not so easy, but it's quite a typical idea here. So, knight takes g5, we cannot take it back. That's why we have to take the knight. So the queen
Yeah.
is getting active. And the trick in these positions is usually that we have knight f3 back. As you can see, the queen is once again under attack. And we have usually the knight f6 back. So we are winning the piece.
Or bishop e7 maybe is also interesting, but knight f6 is good enough to win.
Yes, maybe also bishop e7 is possible, one of those. And this is a typical idea how we get the g5 done. So please do remember that. Knight takes g5. We have this intermediate move, knight takes d5. It is not always working, so be careful here. But it is usually working. Just an idea for your own games, yeah.
For example, maybe we should mention, for example, if king would be on h8, black king, then knight g5 maybe would work, because after knight d5, then white has very nice move.
Yes,
imagine
this
guys,
is correct,
imagine guys, king on h8, what white would play. Then white has this very, very strong undercover check. So knight takes 7 and white is winning. And that's very important. White doesn't have any useful strong moves with knight. Somewhere knight h7 doesn't work, knight takes f7, knight e6, or as we already mentioned, knight f3 is just looting.
Yes, good. That's correct. So, okay, let's go. So, g5. Now, white cannot take on g5. So, what to do for white? White is taking the knight on f6, because otherwise black is going to take the knight, no? So, this is not good. So, take bishop g3. And I think this is one of the key moments of the game, in my opinion, because we have several ways of proceeding here with the black pieces. And David, explain us what is the best way and why, and how to think, how to get the right approach here.
Yeah, Capablanca here found very interesting way. He showed high understanding of chess, because it looks like that black has some weakness on the light squares, and black never should trade the light square bishop. And bishop on g3 looks like it's stronger than bishop on d6, because all or most of the black pawns are on the dark squares. But Capablanca, as I said, showed incredible deep understanding of this position, and what he did exactly, he trades now his light square bishop to knight, and continues to play with rooks and bishop, dark square bishops. But it's also important structure, not just about trading the knights and bishops, but about, he damaging white's pawn structure on the king side. And what is important after that, bishop g3 just out of the game.
Okay, so in this
bishop
position,
g4.
Bishop on g4, yeah. So very nice play. And idea is, as David is saying, to get the bishop g3 out of the game. Because in this position, of course, there are a couple of ways to play it, and I think there are a couple of ways to think about the current position, because we might think maybe we should play something like the move h5. It looks normal, we're pushing, we would like to go forward. So h5 is looking normal. This is not a bad play, but usually white is answering with the move h4, and we have a messed up position. Sometimes it's better to avoid this messed up stuff. The move bishop g4, not in all the games is the best, but currently Capablanca is showing us this great positional idea, bishop g4. We should remember it. It's not easy to find in case you don't know it, because you might think we have the bishop pair with the black pieces, so white to give the bishop. It is, from the logical point of view, not so easy to understand, but it is important, and this type of positions we are capable of doing it. Of course, again, if you play a move like bishop e6, this is not a mistake. Yes, we have the bishops. Yes, black is doing fine. Absolutely, maybe black is slightly better. But in any cases, bishop g4 is a beautiful move. We will see in the current sample why is it so strong. So you will be able to use these ideas for your own practical game. So bishop g4, well, we are targeting the knight f3. This is easy. So, David, what do you think in the game? We see the move h3. David, what do you think is actually the best defense for white here? Because we know the idea of black is now, after h3, to take f3 and play against the bishop on g3. But actually, what is the best defense? Show us some defense. And by the way, thank you very much. We have here great support in the chat of 8dhb8. Thank you very much for your support. Most appreciated. Next stage, David, what do you think is the best defense? We know now what we want with the black pieces, but how can we prevent it with the white pieces? What should we do against the idea of black? Because obviously there is white and there is black. Sometimes we do attack, sometimes we have to defend. We have to know what we should do from both sides. David, please, with white, how to play here?
Yeah. Generally, I would suggest the best defense is can't play. If we have guys can't play, the best defense. But in that case, white doesn't have any active defense, so we have to think about how to, in long run, how to defend. And I understand somehow why white played h3, because white understood that bishop anyway, black wants to take on f3, but on the other hand, white doesn't have any useful moves. And as you mentioned before, black could play h5 or queen e6 with idea f5. So bishop g4, on the one hand, yes, in long term, in some positional idea, is to take on f3 and to play this against the g3 bishop. But on the other hand, maybe black still wants to push h5 or queen e6 with f5. So with h3 move, white just want to clarify just the situation that just force black to more or less force, because black can play bishop h5, but the bishop on h5 already not so good plays like on g4. So I can understand white with h3. The question is what else? Okay,
Exactly.
White can make some random move like a4, or I don't know, some pawn move, or because queen we can't move. Okay, we can play just queen e2, otherwise f3 is hanging. Rook e1 we can play, but also not so clear what does it bring. So in such case, actually, I agree with white. Just playing h3, yeah, it looks like bishop f4. It would be good if you can go then to e3. Yeah, also nice idea, but. Yeah, actually, okay, it was just now mouse, we understand. But what I want to mention, actually, guys, even if you have very nice deep positional idea, first of all, check if it doesn't work, because tactic is most important. If tactical it doesn't work, then for what we need such a positional ideas. It was now mouse slip, but it's just also good example. Yeah, bishop f4, bishop e3, very good idea, but it doesn't work.
Of course.
Yeah. That's David, the same also with some other lines. Yeah, please.
David, you are like a professional politician. I am asking you for a direct question, because this is what is important. In case you would be white, what would you do here with white? So we know what black wants. Black wants to take on f3, play against the bishop on g3. We know this is a way to push now with the black pieces. What can we do with the white pieces to be back in the game? So once we are faced with trouble, we should still try to fight. What is, in your opinion, the best way to fight here with white? First, you say your opinion. I will be also adding my opinion here, the way I'm thinking during a game, the way I am acting during the game to avoid being in this long-term trouble. We know what black wants. How can we resist the threat with the white? What should we do with white? David, in your opinion, how do you act once you're in trouble?
That's what I meant, Arkady. That's what I meant. We can't really avoid bishop takes f3. So in that case, I agree with white, and I think h3 is logical move, because at least we clarify after h3 situation. So
h3. So you say there is probably nothing better that white is capable of doing in this position, so you would still play the move h3 just to see if he's going to take or to do something else, and then you will be rethinking your strategy. Correct, David? Oh, David, we don't hear you. Your microphone is off.
Is it now?
Now it's working back. Yeah, now it's back to work.
Okay. I have some technical issues always. I don't know.
Okay, so
Yeah.
H3. Let's see what happens, and then we think what we will do next. It makes sense. Of course, H3 is making a lot of sense. This is very logical. Let's check what will happen, and then let's decide later. On the other hand, let's say if I would be now with the white pieces, I would think that there is bishop takes f3 coming, and after bishop f3, I'm obviously in trouble. So I like to call it extreme measures. Once you feel you have no escape by playing something normal, you have to take extreme measures, because otherwise you will be just losing on a long run. This is extremely important to understand. Sometimes we have to take a risk, because without a risk, we are going to lose the game, or eventually being in a very bad position with a very high probability of losing the game. So let's call it extreme measures, and I think this is a perfect case for extreme measures. We are under heavy pressure positionally. The guy wants to take on f3, our bishop will be out. And me, this would be my thought process. I have to do something. If I don't do anything, I will be losing the game, or I will be in big trouble. So I would be thinking, all right, now after bishop f3, my bishop is on g3, very poorly positioned. So my only way to activate the bishop would be by playing h4, because there is nothing else that I'm capable of doing. So it would be, for me, the first move to think about. Can I go with the move h4? It looks dangerous. Yes, of course. It might be very bad. Yes, of course. But in case I wait, this is not gonna help me. So I would be thinking, can I play the move h4 just to force something, just to do something? Maybe it is not working again, but this is the thought process. Once you feel under heavy pressure, you try to take extreme measures, because in a normal case, you will be doing very badly. So I would be thinking personally, can I play the move h4? Maybe can I play king h1 first? So I will wait for the guy to take on f3, or to play the move h5 to counter with the move h4. I have to do something with the bishop on g3. I have to free it. Of course, black is doing better, but again, this is a way to think in a practical game. You have to search for ways to get out of bad position. In case we cannot do it positionally, we have to use the tactics, because there's nothing else. We cannot play the normal game in case we are doing very badly. So this is like the thought process of a practical player. Sometimes we have to take the risk to lose the game quickly, because we feel we're gonna lose it in any case in a long run. So we have to take the best chance eventually to be back. Okay, let's continue with the move h3 like it was in the game, and as we see, bishop takes on f3. Of course,
just to mention about h4, because I agree with way of thinking what you meant, and that's what I also said about count play. But I think why is also that idea of Capablanca so great, because even after such a moves like h4, I think he just takes on f3, I guess. And queen f3 takes, and he plays here, for example, f6, and that's what his idea. The same again after king h1, actually.
No, maybe. Of course, David, it is not solving the problems, but this is giving a chance to your opponent to go wrong, which is important. Yeah, because not everybody would take now on f3. There would be easy way to make a mistake, to play the move h5, for example, then to get h4, and maybe white is fighting.
Yeah.
So you have to provoke the mistake on your opponent's side. Otherwise, let's say after h3, it's obvious that black is going to take, so there is no way to go wrong. You have to give a chance to your opponent to take a wrong decision. So this is like the practical approach in many cases, that yes, we take a higher risk to lose immediately, but there is any way. It's like in philosophy, they say the biggest risk is not to risk. So sometimes we have the same situation on the chessboard. Okay, David, let's proceed here with a game. Now we have this position where it seems like everything is equal on the board, but actually, how would you evaluate the position first, David? What is your evaluation of the position, and what do you think should be the next plan by white and by black?
Yeah, it looks like black is better, And black should be better. And why? Because now black will play on the queen side, and in long run, black is just piece up on the queen side because g3 bishop just can't join the party on the queen side. So bishop should
That's
stay
true.
on g3. Yeah, bishop is more or less spectator, not player. And with next move f6, it looks like a Capablanca is a beginner. Yeah, just putting pawns on the same color like his bishop colors on the dark squares. But guys, what is important? Not just structures important. It's important which pieces on the board and where the pieces. Yeah, would have now, for example, a white knight on g3 instead of bishop. Then white is strategical winning, I think. Yeah, just
This
over.
would be nice.
That would be nice, but that's very, very important. We can't say about weaknesses just that. We can't say that why black has some weakness on the light squares, that f5 square is weak. Yes, maybe f5 square is weak, but how to use it? No chance. King or rook never will come to f5. Yeah? And
Okay,
dark
David, but
square bishop also.
what is your evaluation of this position? It's like
Okay,
exactly. Let's say I ask you, what is the evaluation of this position? So
white
what's your
black is better, and what is most important this position. The game is about two results. Black is winning, or the maximum for white. If I mean if black doesn't blunder anything, yeah, the maximum for white is draw. Yes, guys, that's a difference between humans and computers. I'm sure that with computer, and I was checking this with computer doesn't give too much for black. And I can understand also. Maybe it's for some correspondent chess that would be draw. But on the
that's strange.
practical, yeah, it's strange. But who cares? In this position, it's just important is we have long run advantage. How much is advantage? It doesn't really matter in this case. We have long run. We can play 100 moves this position, and white has to fight.
Okay, so
Yeah, for draw. I mean, to
let's
fight. Yeah.
let's once again come to basics. Our main idea: the bishop on g3 can never go back to the game. The pawn f2 is blocking the bishop, so the bishop from g3 has to go to e3, but there is no chance of getting there. This is also why we play the move f5 and not, for example, f6 and not, for example, f5. f5 would be a terrible mistake because white is taking on f5, and then the bishop on g3 is now active, pushing again the pawn on e5, so this position would be just equal. So f6, very important, long run. We are having like a piece up on d6 because the bishop on g3 cannot get into the game. Let's think how to get the bishop from g3 into the game in best case for white. I think the best case is somewhere to play the move f4. We give the pawn, then we play the move f3, and we go back with the bishop to f2. But by giving the pawn, does it help us to save the game? Doesn't look like that. This position is looking like almost a lost position. So, for example, in case I would be black here, I would think I won the game already. Because there is no counterplay. In a long run, I will be playing this b5, a5, a4. As David said absolutely correctly, we have like a piece more in this position. All we need to do is to open the queen side. We can also even play somewhere the move c4 in case we need, but we need to be a little bit cautious with the move d4. So we'll be opening something on the queen side, and after that we have the extra piece in the game because the bishop from g3 can never return back into the game. So it seems like if I would be black, I would be thinking I'm winning because on a long run I will find a way to open something on the queen side. If we turn, we are white now. How to play here for a draw? Our only chance is to make this kind of fortress, maybe like c4, b3, a4, try to block everything, get the rook here to b1, get the king from g1 eventually to d2 or something, and trying to hold this position, but it looks like a lost position personally to me. I don't think there's a way to hold these positions, and yeah. So
in practical game, yeah, it's very hard to hold this position.
I think it just lost.
And it just lost. And as you mentioned, the only way for white in long run to bring this bishop back to the game is to play maybe king g2, bishop h2, then to push f4, and then f3, bishop g1. But then the question is not question, but it's a price what we should do for that. Pawn is a price, but for endgame is pawn, it's very high price. And as you said, that I don't think that will help white to survive here. First
Not
of all, I
really.
think white, yeah, first of all, white after king g2 has to play h4 and at least change h pawns because, yeah, as less weaknesses we have and less pawns, it is better for white, I think. That's what white also did, actually. King g2, yeah, white played next move.
Yes. So white is playing king on g2 once again to finalize the thought. Just let's go back a couple of moves because you see how quick it goes in chess when you have the right strategy. This position seems like very unclear. So we have one move, second move, third move, and now after just 5 moves on the board, from unclear looking position, we have now a winning looking position for black. So it goes extremely fast in chess, sometimes when you choose the right strategy. So very, very crucial, the right strategy to have this overview. It looks very easy to play like in the current game, but actually over the board, it's so hard. So let's continue with the game because the next stage of the game is, I think, not very interesting. So we're gonna do it quickly because we wanted to pay attention on the strategic point and not on the tactics. We have Capablanca with being active now on the queen side. Slowly, he's getting ready to play the move b5, and this move obviously is going to finish the position of white because of the bishop on g3. So we are playing, as you can see on the board, finally we have the move b5 been played. He's getting ready to play the move eventually c4 somewhere. Here we go.
One thing, Arkady, maybe we should mention, if you go a little bit back, again, great understanding of showing Capablanca that he's giving h-file. He doesn't even fight for h-file because he understands that h-file bring nothing to white. Yeah, and that's very important, guys. Just to have some open file, it's just half of the thing, or yeah, because we need some squares. The problem is that bishop is the problem. If you say this bishop is just great on d6, and black doesn't have any weaknesses. Even after rook h7, white doesn't have further some threat. Even then, another rook from a1 comes to h1, maybe, and then maybe rook g7. If even white managed to double these rooks on the 7th rank, even after that is no threat, and that's very important. So
yes.
White can maybe play 5 moves in a row and still no threats. And that's what Capablanca understood, and he's doing his job. He's just pushing on the queen side. He wants to open something now, some files on the queen side, and then should be over.
Then it should be game over. So we have the move c4 finally executed. Again, the execution part, I think, is not very important because then we will go back to the tactical motives. Here we speak about the strategic points of the game. Yes, maybe white could have done a little bit better than, for example, to play a takes b5. Maybe somewhere white could be more ready with the king on e2 instead of g2. But again, these are the tactical things.
Yes, it's not so important.
Yeah, they're not so important because
with
now
engine you will find better moves. It's clear, but it's not about it. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So now the game is basically ending very soon. Finally, white gets this d4 move to play, but it is just too late. And yeah, that's it. White just resigns. In the current position, the a pawn is gonna be a queen very soon. The bishop still on g3, didn't get out. So very nice positional win by Capablanca, especially the idea bishop g4, bishop takes f3. Quite spectacular. Good to know things like that because you can use them for your practical games or eventually defend from the threat of getting into something like this. These positions often appear Italian game, Spanish game, bishop opening, etc. So everything that has to do with e4, e5. All right, let's go to the next game. So we have as well in the next game a great position here. To understand, this position is about, I think, domination. David, can you explain us more about the current position? So it is white to play now. We have king on g2. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, just very shortly about previous position. I want to say that first time I saw that game, Capablanca's game, I mean, I was a kid, and it was so great. It's helped me to understand a lot of things. But please don't understand also, guys, like that you should put your pawns always on the same color like your bishop. No, that's not. We just want to say that chess is a very concrete game. It's 64 squares, and think always very concrete. What is best? What is useful, and so on. Not just that. Okay, I have a dark square bishop. I can never put my pawn on the dark square and something like that. No, that was what we wanted to say. Okay. Now let's move to another game. This one, and here's also Larsen. Bent Larsen played white, also great player.
One of the best European
Yeah.
chess players of the time, yeah.
Yeah, and okay, this is not the position, not like previous one. Here, black has also some counterplay. Queen on h4, maybe some ideas with f5, pawn on e4 could be. Yeah, could cause some problems and so. But yeah, what to do? The question is what to do, and Larsen found great move. It's about centralization. If you can put pieces central, white is better. That's clear. White's better, mostly because of bishop. Look at the bishop on d4 and pawn on e3. And again, yes, e4 pawn could be dangerous, but again, why black doesn't have. Would black have now knight to jump to f3 or something like that? Or like light square bishop somewhere on b5, I don't know, with idea bishop e2, bishop f3, that's just another story. But in this case, bishop on d4 is much, much stronger than f8 bishop. Yeah. And it's like next move of white. It's also a bit of prophylactic move. It's active prophylax.
So,
The
David,
question
what
is,
is a winning idea? How you see that? Let's say we have this position. You are white.
yeah,
What would be your plan? Because, okay, just a move is not a plan. So what would be a plan? Like how you would describe you would like to play here for a win with the white pieces?
okay, very good question. To understand this, where we play, so what is our long run plan? Now, winning plan is first of all we have to say where's missed weaknesses. First weakness in long run is e4, could be in the end game, but the biggest problem is a queen side. Now, if we remove A and B pawns from both sides, that should be just draw, because d4 bishop is still strong, but white doesn't have any targets. White needs to target on the queen side, and b7 and a6 pawns. That's what we want to get. But also, as we already mentioned, its position it's not so let's say one way like previous game. And black has some ideas, only maybe active idea of black is to play f5 later. Right now doesn't work. Also, we have to think what black want to play. Yeah, in my
So,
opinion,
David, what is our
queen
idea?
g5.
Like, what is
Yeah,
our idea?
yeah. Our idea, first of all, to stop any active play from black side, and then slowly to double, for example, on the c file and rook c7. B7 pawn is our main target. If black pushes b5, then a6 pawn. But now black want to play queen g5. Queen g5, and maybe with some ideas of king h7 and then f5 and so on. Once black plays f5, the position is getting very messy. So next
Okay,
move.
so as I understand, David, first step is to defend from the counterplay by queen g5, followed by the move f5. This makes perfect sense, of course, because f5 will be dangerous. Second idea, long run, we try to get to the queenside pawns, which is also making sense because we have here the bishop on d4. The bishop is going all directions, so we use the strong bishop on d4. And somewhere in an endgame, we might be able to collect the pawn on e4 because the pawn is a little bit advanced, so it will be more difficult for black to protect the pawn. So we have to combine all of that to find the right approach. And I would add another thing is in chess, we have something like domination. So what it means, domination of our own pieces against domination of our opponent's pieces. Usually it's counted in how many different places are we active. So let's compare bishop d4 versus bishop f8. Bishop f8 can be only active here and defend the pawn on g7. Bishop from d4 can support white. Left, right, defend somewhere in case we need something. So domination, in case we speak of domination, we speak just about what are the options that we have, how many squares do we control. And I think this is a good example here of a domination of the white pieces here. So first of all, queen h4 is not perfect, but queen wants to get to g5, so we should prevent the queen on g5. And simultaneously, the idea of David is very, very strong. We should advance here on the c file. So open file, obviously we're dominating the open file. That gives always some advantage to white. And personally, what do you think about that? Personally, David, I like very much the idea of a4, b5, b6, and getting my rook to c7.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it, David? Is it the right approach?
Yeah, in long run, that's what we want. Yeah, but first of all, let's centralize our pieces. And
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Let's centralize. So the first move is queen on d5. Very nice play. I personally like it very, very much. We are avoiding this queen on g5. Queen on h4 is stuck. The rooks on the e file of black is also pretty stuck. To get to the d file, impossible to control the c file. Also, no way. So queen d5 looks just too good not to be played. All right. Now we have the move king h7, and there are some comments in the chat to double on the c file with the rooks. Yes, of course, Grand Minor. This is a good idea. But let's do it step by step. So black is playing this king h7. Maybe the next idea is the move f5. What to do next? We have to identify is the move f5 dangerous or not? So David, what do you think? The next move f5, is it dangerous or not so dangerous, and what would you do against it?
Yeah, that's why we can't say without calculation. It's a very concrete move, but it looks like it should be fine for white because white pieces are much active and much stronger. So normally with such a pieces like rook on e8 or bishop f8, and so black is just too passive for such a move like f5 without queen g5. With queen on g5 is another story, because after f5 pawn is pinned and g4 is hanging. So in this case, after f5 we just can take on f5, and I don't see what's next move of black.
Queen on g5 check, no?
Yeah, okay, queen g5 check, and maybe king f1, and then you take. Maybe that's a point.
Not so easy, I think. Maybe f5 is worth considering. I think the problem of the move f5 that there is no continuation, because in case of fg we take ag, and then we have this trouble on the h file.
Queen g5 could be, maybe, yeah, because Larsen played rook c4, which is good move, I guess, but it's and here, as you said when we in previous game, yeah, like maybe best chance is to go. It looks like it all in, yeah, but maybe it's best strategy for black here to play for f5.
I think if I would be black here, I would be definitely playing the move f5 and not b5. We have in the game the move b5. Yeah. So black is trying a static defense. And usually the static defense is leading to a slow death. So
I would advise... Interesting idea, f5, actually. I don't know what best reply, but we can check a bit, because black's next move is queen g5, I guess, because black anyway can't take.
There are no threats. There are no threats, even if you play queen g5.
And even then, yes, that's true, yeah.
There are no threats, but I think f5 anyway should be played with the black pieces, because to hold position with zero counterplay is usually not a good strategy. This can be done only by extremely high-level chess players, so we speak of absolute elite chess players. They can make a draw like a groundhog, just to wait and wait and wait and wait, but most of the chess players were unable to have this groundhog strategy. So for us, we need some kind of counterplay, so f5 probably would be the normal play. With the white pieces, I would say here, probably a4. I like this move a4 because I think our strategy should be to play the move b5, b6, get the rook on c7.
And that's, I think, why Black played b5. Black
Maybe.
wants to stop your idea with a4, b5, yeah. But b5 is not solving problems at all. But still, after f5, f5, a4, b5, b6, as you said, and rook c7, it looks just lost, I think.
Okay, I'm not so optimistic that this is lost, but white is obviously doing much better. There is nothing direct, so we can never take on g4, and it doesn't matter even if we have the... oh, my mistake. Even if we have the queen on g5, there is still never f takes g4. First of all, the queen is hanging, obviously. Secondary, we have the move h takes g4 with a checkmate. This queen here on d5 really dominates the game. Maybe Black thought, all right, f5, what's next? But still, the question would be, is there something better? This is what we always have to ask ourselves in a practical game. We have a difficult position. We have to search for counterplays. There are no normal ways of holding a game. So once again, we go for the strategy of extreme measures. We are gambling. We are saying, all right, maybe I'm gonna die within the next 40 moves without having a chance. Or maybe I'm gonna lose the game within the next 10, but there is some probability of getting some extra chances because I'm getting a dynamic game, because the decision-making process of my opponent might be a little bit more harder than just winning this step by step in a much better position. So this is what we all have to decide in case we are in trouble. Black is in trouble, so maybe still to push a 5 just to hope for something. You don't know exactly for what now, but just for something. So for example, f5, a4, maybe just to push b5, a takes b5, a takes b5. If white takes on b5, just to go, that's rook a8, rook a2, search for some counter chances. Is it bad? Yes, it is, but maybe still we will get little chances to somehow survive somewhere. We have rook a2 idea, we have rook f7 idea, we have f4 idea. So we just push. It's like our last push here. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, anyway, we've been doing very, very badly. So yeah, I think this is making sense. I hope it also makes sense to you.
Yeah, Arkady, I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, because guys, it's like that. Yeah, if you can defend passively, then it's okay. And if you think that your position is good enough or that, but in other cases, really, I would recommend to go for count play, because even if it's doesn't bring too much, at least you make life or your opponent uncomfortable, because psychologically, imagine guys, you have advantage and you can play without count play. You have very comfortable position. You can have never think about some tactical issues. And after, for example, such a move f5, then b5, opening a file, and so at least white has to think about some rook a2, rook f7, like Arkady said, and it makes a bit uncomfortable. And don't forget, it's a practical game. Then it's clock, time, Zeitnot, yeah, a lot of additional things. Yeah.
Okay. To me, I would always advise search for active ways. This ground hack defense, this can only work on a very, very high level. You must be very, very high level to be defending well over long term in a very passive position. This can be done only on a high level. So this is my practical advice. Search for counterplay. This is usually the only way to do something. So in the game, we have the move b5 on the board. Rook goes to c6, attacking the pawn on a6. There is still no counterplay for black. Rook e6, easy play, take, and the next rook is dominating the c file. Queen e7. Finally, the black queen goes back. We have rook on c8. So maybe this is just game over. No, David? It's already lost.
Yeah, bishop c5 is now threat. I don't know how to stop this all threats. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is just a game over.
Rook a8, yeah, queen a8, yeah.
Yes.
It's just too many threats.
Too many threats. So black is choosing this kind of passive strategy. very difficult strategy. Once again, it's possible to have the passive strategy, but not the best in a practical game. We have the move for rook on d6, queen e8. Yeah, now everything is falling apart. Black is going with this extreme measures, but it's too late. It is too late. Black should have taken these measures way earlier. Now, obviously, yeah, just a rook up, and that's it. Very nice win of Larsen in this kind of domination case. Let's go to Nimzowitsch. So we have here the Nimzowitsch game. Aaron Nimzowitsch, maybe some of you remember the famous book My System by Nimzowitsch. And with the black pieces, we have Rubinstein Akiba, also, I think, a superstar of his era. So two extremely, we would say, top 5, no, David? In
two great
top 5
players
of the world.
Yeah.
Top 5 in the world. In their era. We have white to play here. Let's think about strategy. Let's think who is better, why is somebody better, and what should be played next. David, can you explain us what you think are the main positional ideas for white, for black? Why is white or black doing better here? We have equal material on the board. We have, I think, interesting structure here. f5 versus f4, so the bishop is not so good. On d2, on the other hand, the bishop on c8 is not perfect. What do you think, David? Who is better? Why is someone doing better here? What should be played next? David, explain us.
Yes, Arkady. So it looks like that obviously that white should be better here. And why? Because of e-file, because of beta pieces. As you mentioned, c8 bishop is very bad. So only chance for black is to play bishop d7, rook e8 as fast as possible, because black has to fight for e-file. But on the other hand, right now, white doesn't have direct threats. And the question is, how can we improve? We have advantage, we have nice position, but just to have nice position is not enough, because nobody comes and says, okay, you have nice position, okay, you get a point. We need to get it.
But okay, David, I think here I have a question, because this position, you say it's easily better for white. But I think, for example, if we would have the bishop on d7 already, this position would be just equal. Because
could be. Chess is concrete game. One tempo is enough.
Just change the rooks on the e-file. This position looks to me to be perfectly all right for black, because why it should be worse?
I agree. It's
material is equal.
Yes.
Beautiful bishop on c4, beautiful bishop on d4, knight on g3 out of the game. So why it should be worse for black? I think if black is in time to play bishop on d7 and rook e8 next, this should be just equal.
I agree. White has dynamical advantage. It's not like, one more time, like Capablanca's game when it's one tempo or two tempos doesn't really change anything. In this position, it's very, very dynamic, very open position. So each tempo really changes a lot. And Nimzowitsch understood it, and also he realized which his piece is doing so nothing or less. Because bishop on c4 is great. Bishop on d2 maybe it's not most active piece, but very useful piece, because defending, protecting f4 pawn, protecting at some point a5 square, just with in case with knight a5 or so, something like that, and also e3 square. So bishop on d2 is really very useful. Okay, queen and rooks, they are also fine, because queen on f3, it's right now at one of the best square for the queen. Okay, g8 would be better square, but it doesn't work, yeah? And then both rooks will go to e-files, that's also clear. g3 knight is only. What do you think, guys? Where, if you take now knight on the hand, where would you put this knight, yeah?
The next move is, of course, impressive.
Yeah.
The next move can be done only by a very, very good chess player. Otherwise, I think there is zero chance to find the next move by white. So this is a great sample. And in this sample, personally, how I would be thinking here. In case I would be white, I would be thinking, all right, I have just a couple of moves, eventually just one. So strategically, this position is approximately equal because, okay, bishop d7, rook e8, black is fine. I have only one move, two moves time to create something special, because if I don't, it's gonna be just an equal game. And because there is still not fulfillment of black's development, still black needs this couple of moves here, bishop d7 and rook e8, so two moves. We have two moves time to do something. And I would be thinking, well, I have to create some threats. And personally, my first thought would be, let me attack the black king. That would be my first thought, because I'm doing better in development. So how can I get to the black king? And my thoughts would be, is there maybe something like queen h5? What is a follow-up? If I see there is no follow-up, I say, well, maybe not the best. Then I will be thinking, can I do something with a knight on g3? Because, okay, to watch the pawn f5, this cannot be the right way. And I would be thinking, is there a move knight h5? So, David, first, this is, by the way, not the correct way of playing this position with the white pieces. We have a better play. But this would be my thought. And, David, what do you think about the move knight on h5? How do you like it? We try to get to the g7 pawn. So, for example, in case of bishop d7, we proceed immediately with the move queen on g3, targeting the pawn on g7, something like this. And in case of, let's say, g6, knight is now under attack. Maybe we have ideas of some sacrifice. I don't know, has to be calculated. Not sure, obviously, that this is working. Probably it doesn't because of the move g6, but still, no, David, what do you think about the move knight h5?
Okay. Knight h5 is definitely the should be candidate move, and because it could be really very strong if it works. Because I think g6 more or less only normal move here, only reasonable move, because white, as you said, otherwise black has to play bishop d7. And after bishop d7, queen g3, we're targeting g3's g7 square, and okay, maybe still g6, yeah. But anyway, if g6 doesn't work, that I would play even, I think, knight h5. But that's the question, what to do after g6? Yes, for example, after g6, if white could play knight f6, then it's great, yeah, because now knight e8 is a threat, knight d5 maybe is a threat, but yeah, but that's a problem. And now rook f8 or...
Actually, this position is very interesting still, yeah, because we have this take and queen d5, but luckily there is queen g7 that is holding. So still things are on the limit always, so calculation is the key to go. Doesn't matter what you do in chess, you have to be precise in calculation. As well, here after g6, it is not working, but just a funny move to play bishop on e1. Look at that. We sacrifice a knight, we go here, bishop h4, and we try to give a checkmate on f6. We try to play queen takes, h5 next. And let's say perfect for a blitz game, just to push. Let's see what happens later. Just a couple of ideas. What we still have in the position, objectively speaking, is, of course, it is not the best, but it is something to keep in mind.
Yes, but no, knight h5, and I'm sure somehow that Nimzowitsch calculates that move, because he was great player.
For sure he did. For sure he did. So before we go to the best move in the current position, I would like, because we have a question in the chat, why not actually to dominate the e-file? And the question will be answered by, if we dominate the e-file, there are at the moment no entry fields. So black is maybe capable of playing the move bishop d7. The question is, what's next? If we try to play something like bishop on e6 and trying to win the pawn on f5, in most of the cases, black will be in time to play the move g6. We have to see how to play the move g6 in the best version, but it seems like to break through, because the bishop is not in the attack, the knight is attacking the pawn f5, but we will have the move g6 defending the pawn. We don't have enough pieces, because all the black pieces are defending each other, so usually, in case... yes, we have the domination on the e-file, but this is not enough, so we need at least two targets. And in case we have just one, it will be not enough to win the game, so... I don't know. This rook e1 is looking very logical, but the question is what comes after. So... maybe not a bad play, maybe not a bad play at all, but again, you have to make a strategy not to play the first move you see. After rook on e1, what is your strategy in case you would like to change the bishop? The question is, Is it really a solution? So yes, you change your beautiful bishop here on c4 against not a very good bishop on c8. So you have to win some material after playing bishop on e6. So always take it in mind, try to make a good strategy, and then comes the execution. So not first execution and then the strategy. Let's go now to the solution.
Rook e1 is very logical and reasonable.
Definitely very logical.
I think Nimzowicz's logic is the following: that he will play for sure Rook e1 later, and he knows that Rook e1 he can play always. He would play, I'm sure, Rook e1 immediately if, for example, as you said, Rook e7 or Rook e8 would become very strong threat. But Rook e7, Rook e6, and Rook e8 doesn't work because anyway we play Bishop d7. So I think Nimzowitsch just decided first to improve his last piece, which is doing nothing, and later he will do it. He will go for Rook e1. We will see.
Let's go to the solution. Knight h1. How do you like that? Let me know in the chat. Would you ever play knight on h1? And this is very strong play. Unbelievably strong play.
And what's important also, Arkady, this game was played over 100 years. I don't remember in which year exactly, but okay, many years ago, yeah? Nowadays, maybe such moves are easier to play because we have more knowledge and so, but the guys just were starting with chess, so some strategical chess, I mean, and so it's great move, it's great understanding. Yeah, imagine so many years ago the guy just found this move.
Yes, indeed. Without no computers, no live stream by GM Naiditsch and GM Shengelia.
Yes, okay. Did not follow us, yeah, but he knew still.
Yes,
how to play.
So what is the idea of knight h1? David, explain us what is a key point of playing this knight on h1.
Yeah, we have to understand where's our final destination, let's say, and okay, it's a g5 square.
G5, so we go knight f2, knight h3, knight on g5. Yes. So good, yeah. We would like to go to f7 or queen h5 next. Yeah, very beautiful.
It's beautiful, as I did, beautiful. Yeah, and again, with computer we can find the best defense and so, but it's not so easy on the practical game. But idea is great, just to bring knight on g5, because once knight comes to g5, I think that then it's completely over, because h7 is weak, knight f7 ideas, knight e6. Okay, you may just compare knight g3 to knight g5, guys. Yeah.
Yes,
okay,
indeed.
But still we have to calculate.
Indeed. Okay. What a beautiful maneuver. This we have to remember for our own games, because once again, let's go back. As you know, on the stream, I'm mentioning a lot of times that the pawn g6 is doing extremely well against the knight on g3 because it is covering all the active options of the knight. So the knight is getting like a very passive piece. Now, by this fantastic play, knight on h1, we're getting the knight to g5. So from a bad knight to a fantastic knight. With idea knight h1, it takes a lot of time to execute, but the strategy is just so good. Black continues with development of pieces, makes perfect sense. Black is changing something on the e-file, makes also perfect sense. No rush, we are still controlling the e-file. Yeah.
Just one thing, Arkady, just meanwhile, I checked the when the game was played, and it's very funny. The game was played 1926, 100 years ago.
Exactly 100 years ago, yeah.
In 9th of April. 9th of April, imagine.
9th of April, 1926.
11th of May. So it's it's funny. We should make it on 9th of April. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Fantastic.
100 years ago, guys.
Yeah.
Good.
So
take, and now it's important moment.
Take. White wants to get here to g5, so black has to do something against it. It is a must. It is a must to stop the knight from reaching the g5 square, but actually how to stop?
And for now we
Not
need
easy.
Prophylactical thinking. Yeah.
Prophylactical thinking.
That's important. Yeah, as a black side. How to stop knight h3, knight g5.
Not easy at all. Not easy at all.
Rubinstein did not find the best defense, and soon he got in huge troubles.
So, in the game, we have the move knight on d8 being played, this is not really stopping the knight from getting to g5. And maybe...
why not? Why not? Ask yourself.
Why not? But what is the defense, David? You think this is the defense?
Could be. And after knight, the question is, after knight h3, the problem is, for example, like in the game, knight d8 played Rubinstein, knight h3, now h6 doesn't, okay, bishop c6 anyway, mistake, but now h6 doesn't really help because we still go knight g5.
Yes, so this would be a nice checkmate.
Yeah, so it means that we need to some move to prepare h6 not to allow knight g5. And for that, we need some square for the king. I mean that to avoid this nice checkmate. What you
but how you do that, by the way? What is the defense?
Yeah, to push pawn, both
to
pawns.
Put h6, you think it is a defense?
Or to start with g6. Yeah, I don't know which is better, but I think it's more or less the same. We can also start with g6.
G6 may be better, not to allow queen goes there, yeah?
G6 looks at least more logical. And if knight h3, then to play h6. So it's not easy.
Overprotection, because all the black pieces are now in the center. So maybe there is no way to break this pawn wall by white. Interesting.
We made some luft for the king, g7 square, because now knight g5 doesn't work. No time to give checkmate.
Yeah, quite interesting. So I think with white, we still have a couple of options. By the way, we can, because we've been moving the knight so many moves, we have another knight transport potentially over g1 to f3. So for example, we can go queen on g3. King on g7, then go like king f1, because king will be helping a little bit controlling the e-file. Then we get this knight on g1, knight to f3, and knight h4. In theory, but it takes a bit too long. Yeah, now I think it looks like we will have not enough time for that. So yes, g6. g6 would be the right approach here for black to prevent the idea of knight on h3. And what is the evaluation of this position, David? What do you think?
Okay, I would still prefer white because, in my opinion, the practical game, white is still pushing. As I remember, engine was giving already quite unclear. And okay, it's a practical chess. The engine is one thing, another thing. What is practical in the game on the board?
Okay, we have to find something with white, because in a long run. In the long run, black is better because black has more space. So it means that we have to find something, or we will be just doing worse.
Okay, maybe we can still go knight h3 or put queen on d5. Queen d5, for example, I like because after queen, with or without knight h3, that I don't know. But queen d5 I like previous game with from Larsen. White queen d5 so good. One more time, that with or without knight h3 is concrete, but queen d5, it's we don't have direct threat, but we're stopping this knight d8, bishop c6 idea because d4 is hanging, and also we stop some knight a5. So again, centralization, guys. If you don't have concrete threats, just try to improve your pieces, and normally just pieces, put them in some central squares. Centralization is very, very important.
Very unclear. Very unclear, David.
Maybe to start with knight h3, you're right, f4 is hanging. Yeah?
Maybe, I don't know, but very, very unclear, because I think in a long run...
Position is unclear, yeah.
In a long run, if white is incapable of doing something and the black pieces are pretty well positioned, in theory, many moves from now, black is going to be better. So white has to take a decision or try to equalize immediately. It means usually immediate equalization. It means you start to play for a draw. So you go like bishop e6, you change, and then you hold it to a draw. To play for a win, you have to make up a clear plan here. And not so easy. Not so easy. This g6 defense. Yeah, very, very nice defense. Maybe, David, you know what I would do with white here? I think I would play the move h4.
Would be.
I like the move h4 because we would like now to go knight on h3 in case of h6. In case of h6, we have the h5 idea. Ooh, h4 is nice, no? This h4 move, very, very nice. I like it a lot.
But do you think the queen d, you don't want to put first include queen d5?
No.
Because, okay, f4 actually is not hanging. just to stop some knight d8, bishop c6 ideas.
But I'm not afraid of that, David. I will give you a checkmate.
Okay.
I will go for a checkmate. I mean, h5 next.
Rubinstein's king, I don't care, but...
But I will go for a checkmate. I think h4 is actually dangerous, because what is the reaction for black here after the move h4? We still plan the same idea, knight h3. And in case of h6, we always have the h5 idea. Now the black king will be pretty open there. So h4, I think, yeah. As more I check h4, as more I like it.
Maybe rook e8, just...
Rook e8, I think I am capable of taking, and then queen d5, no?
Yeah, take queen d5. Okay, good. Now it could be some problem. Okay, king g7, I can't play. Knight e7, then you take on d4.
This is big problem. Big problem here.
Big, okay, checkmate is always big problem, yes.
Yeah, so this is a big problem. You cannot equalize immediately, and yeah, if you let me play knight h3 and h5 next, this is gonna be tricky.
Yeah.
So still, maybe white is pushing, actually, because we have this resource of playing the move h4. Very, very nice resource. Well, if it's better for white, I think so, because of the move h4. So once again, we cannot lose time. Time matters here, because black is having a little bit more space. As you can see, black is a little bit more advanced. It means many, many moves from now. This space is going to play a role. We have to use the moment to do something. And h4 is looking like a perfect play here. As more I check the move h4, as more I like it. It reminds me a little bit on our stream of yesterday. For those of you who've been not watching the stream, take a look at the last game where I played this h5 with the idea h4. Very similar here. h4, additional push. In case we cannot do nothing with the pieces, let's go with the pawn. And we have in the chat, Bean, thank you very much for your support. Bean is saying, thanks guys, really appreciate you both sharing your knowledge and experience with us. Bean, thank you very much.
You.
Yeah,
thank you
Bean
for watching up, guys. Yeah.
Bean is always here with us, David. Bean is one of the first also to say hello. He has a competitor. It is Grand Minor. Usually Grand Minor or Bean are first to say hi. So yeah. Also, Alexander here is getting quicker, but not as quick as Bean or Grand Minor at the moment. Thank you very much for your support, guys, once again. Appreciate it. Let's proceed. Now we spoke so much about the example in the game. Black is not acting against this beautiful idea that we saw. Knight h1, knight f2, knight on h3. And yeah, it all ends up in this mating attack. So yeah, knight on g5 coming next. It is completely hopeless. It is hopeless.
Queen f2 is very nice move. It's not only move, but it's very nice idea. So, what is idea? Look, before queen f2, Arkady, what is white wants to get e7 square, and Nimzowitsch found great idea how to do it, how to trick his opponent. Played queen f2, and what's the idea of queen f2? d4 is hanging.
Yes.
The question is how to protect d4 square.
Must be bishop c5. Yeah, we don't have something else.
c5, and now, actually, fun is that in engines. It's not the first choice move, but I like still it's very much because I like idea, way of thinking how Nimzowitsch did it.
b4, yeah. B4. Engines say it's a bad play, but it's the most logical. Nice. We attack the bishop. Yeah. If bishop goes back, we win the pawn. So bishop goes to b6, and now we're coming back with the move queen h4, targeting the square e7. Yeah, nice.
Queen e1 would be more precise, but queen h4 is also winning. But okay, the only way would be for black to go to e7, sacrifice d4 pawn, and again, that's because engine doesn't like b4 moves so much. But okay, it's very, very hard to.
Yeah, nice idea. Nice idea. I think we should not pay attention to engine evaluations. Engines are just too strong. Nobody plays like an engine. So very beautiful idea. We are attacking the pawn. We are provoking the bishop to go to c5 to defend the pawn on d4. Next, we are hunting away the bishop, and now queen e1 would just win the game because we're dominating the file. The bishop is out on b6. Bishop doing nothing now on b6. For black, it would be probably better to sacrifice a pawn on d4 because, yeah, to have the bishop out of the game. Now knight on g5. This just feels too bad. Feels like you're not gonna survive that. So black should have been defended better, but nice idea. Yeah, queen f2, very, very cool idea. In the game, we have queen h4, okay, and somehow white is winning the game. I think the rest of the game is not so important, by the way.
Not so interesting. Both made some mistakes, but okay, white is still much better, and at the end of the day, that's just white is winning.
Yeah, this would win the game on the spot. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so all in all, of course, a great example of positional play. The rest of the game, we're gonna just watch it very, very quickly because it is not so important to us. Now the queen is entering. There is no escape here, no tactical options, and white is winning the game. Also b5, quite cool. Is it
nice move? It's not only move. Now white is totally winning anyway, but still nice. b5. What is the idea, guys? b5. He wants to, bring the bishop over before
the last piece joined the game. So very, very cool. Black gives a piece, and obviously this is an easily winning position for white. So if we go back to the first move, I think the first move is crucial here.
Very nice.
Once again, knight is doing bad. We need the extra piece in the game, knight on h1. What a wonderful decision. What a wonderful positional idea, I think. Just great to have this knight on h1 being played. Very spectacular. This kind of positional ideas, in my opinion, are sometimes even more spectacular than just a direct calculation, which is beautiful, but Naiditsch one is not less beautiful than the direct checkmate. Okay, great. Let's go for the next sample because I think this is also a great sample. Let's flip the board. So now we'll be looking at that from the side of black. So what do we have? We have here, first of all, this kind of two rooks, queen, two rooks, queen. The pawns are equal. It looks like an equal game because very hard to do something. Maybe black is doing a little bit more active on the F file, but all in all, is it more than just a little bit better position for black? David, give us your expert opinion on what is the evaluation of this position? Number one.
Objectively, evaluation should be about equal, but black is pushing a bit. Again, we speak like human evaluation. Yeah.
You think it's equal?
Objectively, it should be equal because black is pushing a bit on F file, but okay, white will play king g2. But okay, the question is what means equal? Yeah, so starting position also more or less equal, but just not like that. Yeah.
This is equal because I would say that, to my understanding, black is clearly better. But this is what I would say.
Practical game, it's much easier to play for black. Yeah, okay. But I mean, and the question is how to proceed. What would be the next plan? So in short run up, but also long run, because these positions, queen without minor pieces, queen and rook against queen and rooks, or queen and rook just against queen and rook, it's very specific and not so easy to play. What is important here? Activization is important, like in general in chess. And it's important somehow, safety of the king is also very important. But right now it's white's king also safe. And what to do? Which piece can we improve? Because both rooks are very good placed on the F file. We don't have anything better. Also, before we just make some pawn moves like G5 and so, first of all, we have to think about our queen on D7. What do you think, guys? What would be the best square or squares, or in long run, what would be good for the queen?
Yes, we have to think, of course, what else can be improved in the current position. But David, I don't know. I would not agree with your evaluation. If I would be black here, I would think that I'm doing clearly better.
You're optimistic, guys. It's good. It's good for chess. Yeah.
Why optimistic? The structure is very dangerous. I think, objectively speaking, this is very dangerous. So, for example, my first thought would be to play in this position a5 followed by a4. This would be my first thought.
Yes.
And in case
Good
white
idea.
takes, obviously we are doing better because this structure is going to be horrible, yeah? So rook and games might be problematic already. I'm dominating the A file here. This is not an easy play. Then I would be thinking, what is the counterplay by white? Is there something like a 4? Probably not, because we're gonna
Not
take.
easy.
It's all right. I mean, maybe white can try to hold, but black is doing better. This is not an easy hold.
I agree. I agree with you. Black. Also, if you ask me, just black playing for win, it's about 2 results. But what I mean with equal is that, for example, for engine is more or less equal. But we don't speak now about engines. We speak about
engines
human.
are, David, too strong,
Yeah.
and if engine evaluation is absolutely incorrect in a lot of cases, because it's like I would tell you, in 100 years it would be better for you never to eat a steak, and then you're gonna tell me, okay, Arkady, I'm not gonna be 150 years old. My chances of that are very, very small. So in theory, yes. In practice, completely different. So engines are just too strong. We should not watch the engines so much, because they are giving absolutely wrong impression. If you like to eat a steak, just enjoy a beautiful steak. If it doesn't make you live for another 100 years, I think that's fine. This is, just part of it. So engines are giving you the perfect solution, but perfect is already too much. So yeah, this is my opinion. Engines are too strong.
A5, A4 looks very good. The problem could be maybe if you play A5 immediately, maybe I can play rook A1, I thought.
All right, I will be playing the move B6.
B6, okay, king G2, for example.
Yes, but now it's getting shaky, because you have to control the move A4, and let's say you play king on G2. The way I would be thinking here, so in most of the positions, we need 2 targets. Yeah, 1 target is not enough, so we need 2 targets to do something. Yes. So one idea, we have the move A4. For that, David is putting the passive rook on A1. We keep the idea A4 in mind, but now we have more pieces on the king side, because the rook is sort of lured to be on A1 to just defend against the A4 push. It means for us, we have more pieces on the king side. So I will be next playing the move H5. Let's see how you're gonna react against the H4 idea. Maybe somewhere I will be playing the G5, and I see, all right, maybe there is some threat on the F file, so you have to defend left and right. To defend left and right is difficult in a practical game, because you defend 1 time, 2nd time, 5th time. I'm gonna play this position for 30 more moves, and you have to defend and defend and defend. You get tired at some moment, you're getting bored, you're getting annoyed, and then it's getting tricky.
Question for you, Arkady. What do you want to do with your queen on d7?
I just keep it.
You just keep it there. Yeah. Okay, because Rubinstein made very similar, but still first he improved his queen.
Yes. We're gonna go to the game of Rubinstein. I think he had a great idea, but it is just my first impression, what I would be thinking about this position. My first impression would be, if I get A5, A4, this is fantastic, yeah, because just imagine, let's say white does nothing. I'm playing this A4, take. Next, I will be playing the move b6, and look at the pawn structure of white. If we get some rook on game, this might be just a lost rook on game, because we will be dominating the A file, and these pawns are going to fall. They are so difficult to be defended. So it's getting tricky. This is getting extremely tricky, so this would be just my first impression. Let me try to play the move A4, and in case I lure your rook to A1, then I will be playing just this simple move b6, and yeah, the rook on a1 is out of the game. Once the rook is out of the game, we switch the flanks. Anyway, we need this kind of big picture to win a slightly better position. Slightly better positions cannot be won by one idea or one strategy. It is not enough. So we need 2-3 different ideas to win. It's going to be a very, very long game, but we will be pushing. We are ready to push for the long win. There is no rush. So that's why.
So you want to play for principle 2 weaknesses, yeah, which is very important in chess.
Yes, 2 weakness is usually the way to break a tough position. 1 weakness is not enough in most of the cases. So this is what usually happens here. All right, let's go to the main move of the game, because the move is fantastic, I think, and David is gonna explain us why it is such a fantastic idea, and the idea is super cool. So please pay attention to the next move by
yes,
white. David, sorry, there's a question in the chat.
Yeah.
Hadi BM is saying b4 for white after rook on a1. So Hadi, what do you mean? a5, rook a1, b6. Now to play b4, but I'm gonna take the pawn. You cannot give me the pawn here. This rook is active, but it's not enough because the rook is doing nothing. So to play b4 in most of the cases is not good, because after b4 I can even play somewhere the move a4, switch to a8. This is too risky, Hadi. This is too risky to play the move b4 idea. Okay, let's go to the main move, and David is going to explain us why is it such a fantastic idea, and indeed it's spectacular.
Arkady,
queen on d8.
Show the move. Queen d8.
Why, David? Why?
Guys, write in the chat. What do you think? What is idea? Just idea. It's not even not necessary to write concrete moves. But what do you think? Why Rubinstein played Queen d8?
Yes. What is the idea of this Queen on d8? It looks like it is an empty move. There is no direct threat, and indeed, what is the idea? Let's say white plays King on g2, like an example.
Yeah.
What is the next move by black here? Why do we play the move Queen on d8 in the game? White didn't understand that. White didn't defend against it. So let's say King on g2. What is the next move by black here?
Any ideas, guys?
Please write your suggestions in the chat in case you have some cool ideas, or at least some ideas. Sometimes it's difficult to figure out, but we have ideas in the chat of playing the move h5, but this we could have played as well without the move Queen on d8, because how does it help? The question would be, how does it help to play Queen on d8? h5 is normal move, yeah, of course, but how Queen d8 helps the move h5? There should be something else. There should be something else. We have idea also by black in this position to play Queen on g5, followed by rook on f4. Yes, this is a nice idea, but after Queen on g5, the king might leave, and again, would be the question, what's next? So maybe something else. There is something else. Except Queen on g5, what else could be the idea? David, maybe just explain us what is the next move by black here, and what is the idea?
Yes, Queen d8 is a very smart move. It's a beautiful idea, but I think exactly to go to d8, because Rubinstein didn't want to shock his opponent what his main idea, and the opponent played here Queen g4 because he also thought that Queen g5 is the main idea. But actually, the idea is not Queen g5. The idea is to bring Queen on the very nice diagonal, and this diagonal is g1 a7. So black played here Queen b8.
Yes, fantastic play, fantastic play. Queen on b8. So the queen is like getting over a7 into the long diagonal.
And then c5. And then the same idea like Arkady already mentioned, to play a5, a4 if it's possible, or to push b5. The both ideas are then, because with queen on c5 is much stronger than to push this pawn, because then d5 is weak. Also some diagonal, who knows, e3 always hanging. We have d4 square, just queens on c5, it's just much stronger and
it's
much
better positioned. This is for sure. So let's take a look what happened in the next move, and then we compare to the starting position. Then we have this kind of better comparison. So we have this position. Just remember this position. Try to visualize.
Just 3 moves, yeah, or 4 moves.
4, yeah. Just visualize. We have the queen on c5, so the queen is very active. Now we have the same idea of a5. We have ideas maybe to annoy white a little bit here with queen a3. We have ideas like b5 somewhere. And let's go to the starting position. So in the starting position, what did we have? Just a couple of moves ago, this is what we have in the starting position. Queen is on d7, and yes, my idea was to play this immediate a5, a4. But the queen is quite passive on d7. The queen is not doing much. And just a couple of moves later, Look at the queen on c5 now. Where would you love to have your queen? d7 or c5? And I think the answer is pretty simple, of course. Queen on c5 is doing better than the queen on d7. So what a wonderful maneuver here by Rubinstein. Queen d8, queen b8, queen a7. We're getting out the queen from the a7 square. And we have these ideas, for example, in the Italian game. There is this idea, queen b8, queen on a7. But anyway, I think quite spectacular idea to be remembered.
Spectacular idea. And sorry, Arkady, just also again, I wanted to mention that its idea is great. And don't forget, guys, this game was played 1907.
1907, wow.
119 years ago, this game played.
Imagine,
guys.
Now we have world champion who is 2007, and the game is 1907. Yeah, incredible.
And there's a big respect to that, guys. That's because when, this discussions about if that guys could be nowadays so strong, nobody knows it, but that guys were just great for their era. So that's what counts. And it's a really why it's so important also this, and why we suggest guys to you to also some review this classic games, because you will learn a lot. You will learn a lot of interesting ideas. You will learn to understand chess much better and much deeper.
Okay.
And one more time, it's not about engines, evaluations and lines. It's
engines, of course, is a disaster for most of the players because they're just giving wrong impressions, and they're, I think, for some hobby players, even irritating them in the real chess process. So David, very beautiful example here on queen d8, queen b8, queen a7. I hope you will remember that. And let's just check what happened later in the game. So let's proceed. We have queen e4, queen b4.
Game, but not so important later,
Yeah, it's not so important, but anyway, it's nice to see the execution. Rook f6, beautiful move, just in case not to have the rook hanging. We free the rook from f8. Let's see what happens later. King on g8, so black is just being so patient, improving the position. Now a5, this can be played because we'll be dominating the a file. If the white rook would be on e1, then of course we would never play the move a5. Now a5. Very, very nice. We're dominating the a file. We will be getting now with the rook to a2. If this position is a draw or a win, this is still hard to say. Yes, of course, rook endgames have very, very high tendency towards a draw. Maybe the best chance for white is to sacrifice the pawn by playing the move f4. But again, this is sort of practical chess. More than 100 years ago, they've been not so good in defense, so this was always a trouble that to defend, it was not easy back then. And today we have much, much better defenders, especially at the top level. I think they would be able to make a draw here with the white pieces, but still, the game idea is just so good. We are dominating the a file.
Just wanted to mention, Arkady, maybe it would be better to play at some point b5 or a5, but okay, we don't need to check it now so precise, but is it to go for this rook endgame, maybe Rubinstein?
Yes, he could have kept the queens on the board, for example.
And push b5 or a5. But okay, like he played also very good practical chances, and then he won the game. We can, I think, check it fast. It's nothing.
By the way, David, there's a funny question in the chat. Would you be able to find this kind of maneuver in your own game?
Yes, and I told you why. 120 years ago, maybe not, but now yes, because we already have very good examples. And why it's important. Once you saw this, guys, believe me, if you have something similar, automatically you will start to think about it. That's how chess works. That's why it's important to learn as much as possible ideas, motives. That's what's important. And yes, that's because I can tell you for sure that in most of the cases, yes.
All right.
We speak now about normal, not about blitz or something. About normal standard chess game.
Yeah, classical chess game. All right, so let's quickly go to the end of this game because we have more great examples prepared by David here to watch. This rook endgame, black is obviously pushing because we have the only open file where we dominate, and king on g4, not perfect. So slowly, somehow black is winning the game step by step, and yeah, the game is over very soon. No counterplay here. These pawns will be moving, and it is a game over. So again, for us, it's not crucial to watch this endgame till the very end, but just to know how the game is finishing. Very long game, by the way. Very long game. Is still quite a complex rook endgame that is won by black. Very long game. Very long game, yeah. Now we have the h pawn and the c pawn, so the game is ending, but what a fight, what a beautiful maneuver in the beginning of the game that for sure we have to remember for our own practical games. And let's go here immediately to the next one. We are starting this opposite Kala bishop position now, so we are in the game of Guala Sachs, one of the strongest Hungarian chess grandmasters. I think Guala is not anymore with us, as I remember correctly, but he was one of the best. I had the pleasure still to play a game against Sachs. I played him, I think, even a couple of games when I was a very young boy. Very strong Hungarian grandmaster. I think he was in the team where when Hungary took the bronze medal at the Olympiad of 2000, I think, no, David, or even earlier, 98.
I don't remember which year, but yes.
Okay, because it was in
one
the team,
of the top Hungarian players of all the time, I think.
Yeah. There been Portish still in the team, Sachs was in the team, Horvat was in the team, so they had a fantastic team. Back then, I think Liko was maybe already in the team. I'm not sure about it. Maybe Almashi also, but maybe too young. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, in any case, we have this position here with the opposite color bishop. And how would we evaluate the position? This is the question number one. Who is doing better here and why? And it is black to play. What should we play next? David, please give us explanation. Who is doing better? Black,
yes,
white, and why? And what should be the plan? We are not going yet to execution of the plan, but just overall plan. What are we aiming for and why?
Yeah, first of all, I also want to mention that Gyula Sachs, one of the best player. I'd also had honor to play a few games, I think 2 or 3 times against him. And yeah, it was a big pleasure to play against him because from these games, and it doesn't matter how it results, it's you just learn to play. Each game against such a great players just bring a lot.
He was a great attacker, yeah. Sachs was one of the best attackers in the world at some moment. He was so good in the attack, yeah. I remember his games on the Sicilian. He was fantastic. Okay, David, let's come back to the position. So, what do you think about the position? Why? What we do next?
What is important in such positions? We have different color bishops. Because, for example, if we remove bishops from the board, it's just totally different kind of position. Because then it's just queens and rooks against queen and rooks, and it's different, let's say, some rules. Yeah. What is here important? What we have dark square bishop. Our opponent has light square bishop. That means that we are dominating on the dark squares. Actually, we are piece up on the dark squares, and white is piece up on the light squares. So that means, first of all, we have somehow to try to restrict the opponent bishop to put our pawns. How we can do it with our pawns? So let's try to put pawns like that. White light square bishop is no more so strong. And on the other hand, to activate our bishop. And white's better in this position because white has great square, e5 square.
No, you mean black, David, not white.
Sorry, for sure, black, yeah. White doesn't have e5 square. Black has e5 square. And what's important that white doesn't have pawn on d4 or f4 to do something against this bishop.
Can
so
we
bishop
walk back with our pawns? Not easy.
Yeah. What is this? Not easy? Sorry, I didn't
Not
hear.
easy to walk back with your pawn.
Yeah, not now at least. Yeah.
Yes.
Who knows? Later, but yes, we have e5 square. But first of all, Sachs makes a very nice plan. He's putting his pawns on the light squares, and first move is very logical, very makes a lot of sense. He's playing just g6.
G6 is a very beautiful move, but David, how would you evaluate the position? It's like, what would be your evaluation? You are black. What would you think?
Yes, actually, I would think that I'm much better. It's more than equal plus. Let's say with engine, how approximately I would evaluate it's between 0.5 and 1 minus.
So quite a big advantage for black in this position, even though we have everything equal.
Yeah, because it's easier to play.
What is the main strategy, David? What is the main strategy? All right, so
that's what I meant. Main strategy is to play on the dark squares because we are piece up on the dark squares. So imagine if you attack some dark square, we're always one piece more because light square bishop can't do anything on the dark squares. It's logical.
Okay. So we are playing on the dark squares, and then we have to make a strategy. For example, do we want to go for endgame?
Which endgame?
Let's say we would remove now the queens from the board. Is it good for black or good for white?
I think it's good for white because it makes life easier for white. Without queens is... okay, for example, if we remove queens and rooks, okay, we can immediately, I think, offer a draw, yeah? Because I don't know how it's possible to win. Even if you bring your king on b4, let's imagine, just opposite color
yes,
bishop.
opposite color bishop without rook, without queen, it's just a draw, yeah.
Yeah, it's just dead draw. If we remove just queens, it's still, I think, it's much higher chances for white to make a draw because without queens, what is white's good to trade queen for white because then white can easily activate king. Because here's also problem is that white king in long run is a bit weak because white has just two pawns. Why I mentioned about pawn f pawn. If white would have pawns on f4 and g3, then white is fine. I mean, if it's not nothing happens, yeah. But here, yeah, definitely for black is better to play with queens right now. But who knows, guys?
Yeah, makes sense.
But always, if you have chance to trade, think concrete. It doesn't mean that you should avoid the trading of queens always. No, it could be some concrete moment where we can trade. For example, if you let's say it's not realistic, but for example, you could play queen g5 now with white, yeah, with black, I mean, and white has to trade on the. Okay, in such case, I will trade the queens because then I will win the exchanges, yeah, because this.
Okay, so how I see always these positions opposite color bishop. This is also what we do quite often on the stream. This is what I'm always saying that opposite color bishops, it means you have a chance for attack. So because we would like to attack, obviously we don't want to change the queens in case we don't have to change the queens. Queens on the board, long term we will have some great attacking chances here with black. We should try to think, of course, what is a counterplay by white. There is only one way to play these positions with white. It is to get the c5 somewhere. So, or supported by the move b4, c5, or c5 immediately with sacrificing something. This is like the only way to play this position with white. To have no counterplay for a long time leads usually to a very solid, boring 0. In the cross table, that's why white has to search for counter chances. This can be only the move c5. Black is doing much better. I think David explained it very good. We have control over the dark squares. Opposite color position, opposite color bishop position means the attacker always is in big favor. Let's see how the game progresses. We have wonderful move g6. What a beautiful first move. Because we would like to set up this g6 f5 very, very strong. So for example, to play the move h6 will be a huge mistake because you make the bishop better. In theory, the queen might get somewhere here, then we have this queen h7. So very crucial to play the move g6, wonderful move to play. Rook e4 been played, bishop on e5, so monster bishop here on e5. Queen goes to h3, f5, so we are advancing step by step. Rook on e2. The question would be now, what's next? And David, tell us, what would be your first move to think about in the current position?
Good. So first of all, how to activate rooks, because bishop is now just the best place. Okay, queen we can always bring to g5 or f6. And the big question is how we should put queen side pawns. Because on the one hand, it would be nice to put pawns on b6 and a5 just to kill all kind of counterplay. But on the other hand, that's downside of that a5 and b6 structure is that black never has theoretically even this b5 chance to push b5. I don't know if whether black needs to push b5 or not, but yeah, it's actually quite difficult question because for me b6 or a5 looks very tempting in this position.
I think I would do the same. I would do the same. Yeah. I think I would definitely put the pawn on a5, this for sure. So the pawn is blocking.
C5, but it's the question is, Ricardo, if after a5, c5.
No, of course. c5 will be played by white. Yeah. But the idea of a5 looks for sure good.
a5, b6 looks actually good because then we are more or less pawn up on not more again on the king side we're pawn up. And on the king side, I mean, on the queen side is 4 against 3. It doesn't really change anything for white. White can't do anything. These 3 pawns are, blocking.
Yes, for sure. I mean, so in general, this should be good for black. In general, we should, of course, pay attention against the main idea. It is to play the move c5. White has to sacrifice something to get some counterplay. To die without a counterplay, this is not a good idea. So we should prevent the move c5. We have to think, how can we prevent the move c5? So we have some pressure here. Maybe it is to play, for example, queen on g5. Looks very, very logical. Personally, I like this queen on g5. We are attacking the rook. We are asking, all right, rook, where do you go? If the rook goes up to e1, now the move c5 is getting weaker. So, for example, we can go rook c8, just stopping white from playing the move c5. And let's see what happens next.
Yeah, or b6 maybe we can already play.
Or b6.
And if before, maybe even a5, I don't know.
Okay, we have to still calculate the move c5. I don't know if I would give this option, because it is too complex. Maybe it's good, but I like to give no counterplay in case it's possible. But this would be the first intention I would think about. All right, let's not give the guy the move c5. How can I do that? Let me move away the queen from the pin, and then let's see what happens next. In the game, we have rook c8, so it is also a play against the move c5. Makes sense, because after c5, now we will be taking the pawn with the rook or playing the move queen on g5. I think both is looking winning. I don't know what is better. Maybe
rook c5 just.
Maybe rook c5 more easy. So white is gonna take. There is this kind of queen e3 idea, maybe.
Okay, rook e8 should be good enough because I don't think that d6 is dangerous. And if you play bishop c4, I could just put queen on d6 and then king g7 and so on. Yeah.
And like slow play. Yeah, this is possible. Personally, with white, I would for sure play the move d6 here, because I think this is the only way to fight here with white for a draw. Now you get this, in theory, idea of bishop c4, queen f3, at least to get a little bit of counterplay. Yes, it is a very bad position, but...
okay, 2 pawns down should be lost, but at least, some chances.
At least some chances,
White didn't play c5 because white realized that it's not enough counterplay.
But personally, I would push, David. If I would be white here, I would play the move c5 for sure. And then I would think here, all right, maybe I have something like g4 and try to escape.
Good, so, it looks very good, but it's again some all-in.
No, but this is half all-in, so it's not like complete all-in because we're still just a pawn down. This is fine. It is a bad position for white, but it is a fighting position, so at least I see what I need to do. I need to change the queen somewhere and then escape into some bishop endgame, 2 pawns down, but maybe I'm gonna save the game. To wait is not a solution, so here c5 I think must be played. If you are white, you have to do something. To wait is not enough to make a draw. Maybe g4 immediately deserves attention. Similar idea. Let's break the structure. Black is gonna take on G4, Rook F8, and maybe Queen E6 check. So maybe first King H8. Not to change, but still C5 or something similar. So White needs to fight. You have to fight. You cannot wait for Black to stabilize. It's gonna be a game over.
We have to mention, Arkady, maybe for example, after G4, maybe our spectator can ask why not F4. But after F4, the problem is that now our bishop is not more so active, and White can just blockade it on the light squares like Queen F3, or in long term, maybe even I can bring King to F3 if I have the chance. Maybe now immediately I don't know, but as idea, I mean, I will put something on F3 for sure.
Yeah.
No, FG is the best reply.
Yes, this for sure.
Yeah. Okay, but
in the game, because we have a couple of more samples that we want to show you. So let's go quickly, because this is a main idea. Once again, let's start from the very early stage. G6, fantastic positional move. We are having this beautiful bishop. We are acting against the move C5. White is thinking that it's going to be fine, but it is not. So now Black is starting to transport the pieces slowly, because the play is going to be where we are better. Opposite color bishops, it means mating attack in the future. Black is getting ready for it. White is just waiting. Now the queen joins. The queen joins. Control over the dark squares belongs to Black. There is no rush. Look at the bishop on B1 and look and compare it to the bishop on E5. Black is slowly getting, of course, we don't change the queens. So yeah, step by step. Now, after G3, Queen H5, we have the ideas of F4 coming next. White is playing the move C5, but it is too late. That's a problem. White should have done it earlier. Once again, White is waiting too long with a counterplay. In case you are searching for counterplay, do it in the fastest way possible. Maybe in the future you will not get a chance to get even something for being worse. Beautiful move F4. Now some little tactics here. There is a checkmate coming from everywhere now. So hard to defend here. And the last beautiful move of the position, a little bit tactics. Black to play, Black is winning. Try to calculate a little bit for yourself. Try to suggest what could be played next. Let's give 10 seconds. 10 seconds to the fastest of you to propose the next move. It is a winning move, and it is. We take. Rook takes. We take. And yeah, that's it. In case queen takes, there is just queen takes and the pin on the H file. So all in all, very nice game that is finishing in a very logical way. Opposite color bishops, mating attack. It all finishes with some bishop takes H2, the bishop on B1 out of the game, completely hopeless. Black is winning. All right, let's go immediately to the next position. And this position is also very interesting because here we're going to turn the board. It looks like from the first view that this position is just a draw. No, opposite color bishops, everything is equal, structure pretty equal, more or less the same. So some people might say, all right, maybe this is just a draw. With a normal play, we have nothing to gain. If Black plays well, this is a draw. Let's go home. Let's wait for the next game. But in fact, maybe it is not like that. So, David, can you explain us this position? Who is doing better? Why is maybe White doing better? And what should be the plan?
Yeah, again, in this position, White is doing better. And why? The question, yeah? Because of better bishop. Because B8 bishop doesn't have any really bright future. And White is controlling both open files, which is important. But still, Okay, with best defense, maybe black should hold the position, but it's really, really very hard in the practical game. And white made a great job. If I remember correctly, this was game of Kasparov was white. So yeah, and here we should improve. We should improve, and we have time. We have enough time, so we don't need to force something. Just so step by step to improve our position, and also.
So how do you improve? What should be the plan?
Okay, first of all, now maybe Rook C7 is some kind of threat. I don't know. Could be, because I don't know. Rook C7 is threat or not? Queen takes A6. Then we take Queen B2. Rook E1.
Yes,
could be some kind of threat. Then maybe I can play even B4 and I have nice
but what is the main idea for white here, David? Like what, let's say you have 10 free moves. What do you do?
Okay, first of all, just to stop any kind of conflict.
Okay, so you stop the counterplay. What's next?
Yeah, and next we have, again, the principle of two weaknesses we have. One weakness is queenside, A6 pawn, A6 and B5 pawns. That's long run target. And also we have very nice idea later after we bring, for example, king to G2, bishop F3, just to have everything under control. And maybe we can, for example, play H4, H5, if opponent allows it. And who knows, maybe then we can regroup and watch the H7, direction H7 square. Because again, the biggest problem of the black's position is counterplay, and B8 bishop is just doing nothing. So that should be the general plan, but still not so easy, because compared to the previous position, it's white doesn't have so direct attack on like the game with G6, F5 and bishop on E5. It's better. It's plus even. I would say this is plus even position with a nice practical chances.
So you think white is doing slightly better in the current position?
Slightly, but very unpleasant. That's how we evaluate it and how engine evaluate it. Engine will evaluate just 0 point something, 3, 4, and maybe it's also correct. But the problem is not just zero. Problem is the long run future. Black doesn't have any counterplay, and it's very unpleasant to play over the board because we can push and push. It's important is not to allow counterplay from white's perspective now, I think, and not to blunder. It's anyway.
So that's an interesting position here, because personally, if I look at this position, I would say it should be holdable.
And it is, for sure it is.
Opposite colors. Okay, last game, for example, I think it was a bad position, but this time black should be able to hold that. How I would see that is very simple. If we change rooks, it's going to be a draw. So every change of a rook is very positive for black. If we change the queens, this is an easy draw. Even if you get a pawn, this is not enough to win the game. This is still quite easy draw, I would say. The tendency towards a draw is very high. We have to get ready for some endgame. To defend the worst endgame, we must have a good structure. If white gets pawn to h5, this makes our structure very, very bad. So if I would be black in this position, I would say, all right, my next move is the move g6. My next move is the move h5. Then I'm going to play the king on g7, and then I literally don't care, because I can wait forever. Even if by some miracle you're going to collect the pawn on a6, which is far from easy, it's still going to be a draw, but I need a good structure for that. So I would say, all right, I'm going to hold this game into a draw most probably, except there is something direct. So if I see something direct, well, there is nothing to discuss, because direct is direct. It is game over. In case there is nothing direct, I would go immediately with the move g6, followed by the move h5, and followed by the move king g7. Like this, I am securing that all the endgames, even by losing a pawn, are gonna be most probably a draw. I cannot let white to push this h4, h5, because then the position of the king on g8 is just terrible. Imagine bishop on d3, all the checkmates on the last ring. This is dangerous, so I should not let this happen. That's why my choice was black. Would be g6, h5. I would be thinking, I am suffering a little bit, but maybe not too much. So they've been worse positions that are holdable. I would personally think, David, that somehow I will be able to hold that. I don't know. This is my feeling.
Yeah. But one more time, you will hold it after playing very good and some 3 or 4
Not
hours.
easy, yeah, not easy. Still some suffer, of course, yeah, not easy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how the game proceeds, because it's a very nice example. So we have you said white is Garry Kasparov, black is Olofsson, Helgi, also very famous grandmaster. So let's see, queen on b6. Now here the pieces are pretty passive, and we have the move queen e7. I don't know, David, I don't like this move. Maybe there's something that white wants to do immediately, but I don't like the move queen e7. I think with black, I would play here the move g6. Almost sure. It's like g6 automatically.
g6, h5 is correct, yeah. Strategically and structurally is a correct idea. Maybe black wanted to play rook c7, but rook c7 black can't play. 6 is saying, I don't know actually why he played.
We have a good queen on f6. Queen is doing well, so way to move the queen.
Yeah. Okay, it's clear that queen e7 and also some following moves, black did not play the perfect game. But still, it's not easy. Maybe rook c6, for example, I can go now. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's say rook c6.
I go h5.
You go h5. And now the question is, should we double on c file or what?
No, but I will go h4. You should play h4 probably somewhere.
Yeah, h4. Yeah, you go h4. That's a question. Then what is next move?
I will be taking king g7. I think this is not looking like a position that black should fear. I don't know. To me, it seems like I think it's holdable. Yes, we are a little bit passive, but it's holdable. I think with white, personally, let's say,
I think rook c8, for example. I don't know. For rook after h5, rook c1. I mean, so rook c6, rook c1 now.
I don't know, David. I think this is not so dangerous because to
rook
win,
c8 is now quite unpleasant threat.
Rook c8, maybe yes, maybe rook c8 is possible. Maybe I should go king g7 first.
Okay, rook
c8, yeah, maybe you get to the bishop on b8, so maybe I should go rook d7, like possible. A6, something like rook on d2, so it's time to get active.
Queen d5. I'm just collecting the pawns.
Yeah, but then queen rook a2. I think this is,
yeah, as well. Okay, maybe rook c2. I should go here better. Rook c2. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay.
Or take
black is suffering a little bit. Yeah, this is a little bit of suffering, but
then objectively clear. It should be holdable. Yeah,
it should be holdable. Yeah, a little bit of suffering, but holdable. Personally, I think with white, we have an idea of playing the move a4. This is usually what is happening in most of these positions. So you are forcing black to play ba, a5, and here comes the move bishop b5. This is what we see very, very often, because now the rook is really blocked.
It's paralyzed. The black is a bit paralyzed. What to do with black? Okay, again, h5 you will play, and maybe it's still holdable, but very unpleasant.
Yes. No, but this is still holdable, but these are just the main plans very often here to paralyze black like that and play this long game, which is objectively speaking holdable, but you are suffering. So this move a4
we can put, and then maybe even king g2, and if we have chance to push f4 and d4 even late.
Yes.
But okay. Yeah. Let's see the game. Yeah.
There's a question in the chat. What do you think about the idea of bishop on b7? So, for example, king goes to g2, then to play this bishop f3, bishop b7. Usually, it is not enough, because even if you eat the pawn somewhere, something will be hanging here. So the pieces are not perfectly positioned, and also we have queen e7 in case I really want to defend the pawn, but I think I would not defend the pawn. By the feeling, this bishop b7 is not very dangerous. We'll get some kind of counterplay a little bit here. I don't know. To go for the a6 pawn is a good idea. This bishop b7, bishop a6, but it looks weird. This looks a little bit strange to get your bishop to such a passive place. I don't know.
I also don't think that it's best way, but it could be one option. It
could be an option, yeah.
Interesting.
This could be an option. All right,
Yeah.
let's see what happens in the game. We have queen e7, rook on c6, so white is getting active. Bishop on e5, black is trying to be as active as possible, but again, I'm not 100% convinced that this is the best defense for black, because why to put the bishop on e5? Still, the king is doing bad. We need to play this g6, h5. Without g6, h5, black will be in trouble. So, rook on b8, queen a5, bishop c7, queen on c3. So, black is not yet understanding the problem. And here comes finally the move h4. And after h5, I think black is doing now really, really bad. So I think black is currently under pressure. What do you think, David?
The position is very unpleasant. And again, there's two weaknesses, so the queen side and king side, and it's not so easy to handle with it. Because h5 is coming, then maybe we can regroup again. Bishop on the b1, h7 diagonal. Queen is coming to e4. a7 rook is out of the game, so it's a huge problem as well, yeah? If white could put these rooks on some central on the d file or somewhere, then white has to trade them, change, and then it should be an easy draw. If we change the rooks, it should be easy draw.
No, but of course, but how to do that?
Yeah, how to do that? Both, I mean, yeah, one rook we can change, but still, d1 rook quality is much higher than a7 rook. Yeah.
Yes. No, but I mean, for me, the main problem is that white is getting this h5. Without having h5, it's alright for black, but still, of course, strange play by black. But if we would have g6, h5 on the board, that's more or less fine. But now that white is...
White generally try in such a positions to put pawns on the opponent bishop color. So in that case, put your pawn on the light squares, white puts the pawn on dark squares to restrict your opponent's bishop and to have more space for your bishop. But one more time, it's not always 100% like that. Chess is very concrete. Most of the cases it should work. It's most logical way to put the pawns and but always think very, very concrete. Good. What do we have now? H5.
G6.
Now, black played G6, yeah.
G6 is a must play. At least after H5, you have the move G5. White is not changing now the rook, which makes sense because white is getting ready to attack. So why should we change the rook in case we won't like to attack? A rook goes back.
The question is why black did not play H5 actually. Maybe
there is bishop takes.
Just bishop takes
and then rook on g5,
Yes.
So rook b8 goes back. We have the move h5. White is advancing. Now g5 played. So the king is a little bit under pressure. King is under pressure still. To win this position is not so easy. Rook goes back. All right, bishop b6, king on g2. So white is putting first the pieces to perfect positions. And rook on c7, rook on d6. Yes, slowly I think the domination of the white pieces is so much visible here. Take, take, rook is under attack. Queen on d8, and the time has come to finish the game here. White is winning. What do you think is the right approach? Please write us in the chat in case you're following us closely. What should be the next move by white? White is having now a winning position. It is already game over. The bishop is so bad, still so bad. The bishop on f3, much better. Rook, queen, full domination on the chessboard. Once something like this happens, there is usually no comeback from that. So white is winning actually quite easily here. And what should we do next? What should we do next in the game? We have bishop on g4, so it's game over. No, David? What do you think?
Yeah, it's over. Maybe the best chance now to go for queen d5 to the end game, but after trading queens and rook takes h6, that should be just over because black doesn't, opposite color bishop does not help black here too much. d4 we can't push because a6 is hanging later, and if not, we just play again rook h6, maybe even bishop f5, h6, h7, then king comes to g4. It just looks just lost again. And the problem, as you see, like in the beginning, bishop and rook are still the problem. These two pieces.
Not easy to defend a position with the passive pieces. So in the game, there was rook on b7 played. Now we have this little tactics here. Bishop takes e6, obviously queen takes e6, with a checkmate very, very shortly, because even to win the pawns would be enough without a checkmate. But yeah, there will be a checkmate or the move for rook on c8, winning the queen. So the game is over. Very nice sample on this typical Catalan structures that we saw. So very, very good example. Let's go with our last example of the day. And here we have a very, very draw-looking position. So today we are focusing on the opposite color bishop stuff, on positional solutions, much more than on tactics. Black is to play. What do you think? David, explain us a little bit the current position. It seems to be, is it not just a draw? Opposite color bishops, everything is equal. White is now controlling the c-file. So all white needs to do is maybe just to play a move like, for example, queen on c3. Just change the queens, and is it not immediately a draw? David, tell us what we can do here with the black pieces, why maybe there is a chance of winning this position, which is looking like a draw.
Yeah, it looks like a draw, but black has very good practical chances. And the question is why. C-file in that case, not so really relevant. Nobody cares about C-file, because if you, even after queen c8, white doesn't have big threats, because a6 pawn to take a6, it just, yeah, white king is very weak. Would be, for example, king on g2, would white have pawn on g3, then it's more solid position. Like we said, then we have pawns on dark square, we have light square bishop, and that should be good enough to make a draw. Maybe this position also, if white played perfect moves, should be holdable, but it's not so easy over the board to make such a moves. And especially black played this game. Black found here best move. And again, what do you think, guys? Which move would you suggest with black, and why? Think about king. It's very important, king safety here.
Can we do something with the black attack against the king on g3?
Yeah.
No, but
first, who start the attack to the opponent king has better position and better chances.
But all right, David, first, how would you evaluate the position? Like, let's say this is always how we start. Usually it's a direct evaluation. What would be your evaluation of this position?
Okay, first of all, I already checked this position and analyzed, and I know. But for example, if I see it first time, this position, my feeling would be that black is better. How much, it's not so easy to say, because it depends on concrete lines. But white black is better, in my opinion, because
but
of
how much better? How much better would you say? A little better?
That's a problem to say without calculation, but I would say even plus. Position it's even plus with good chance, or even if its position is zeros, I would say that still black has very, very good practical chances. And why? Because our structure is better. We have d pawn. We can always push d4. And also, king is some kind of open. Yeah, it's the white king. I mean, not really too much. We have some ideas, and that's what I want to ask you guys. What do you think? How we can push? Because we have to do something with structure. Otherwise, okay, if we play queen c5, good, then we can offer draw, for example.
Interesting, because I don't know. For me, I would think should be a draw.
Okay, again, chess should be draw.
Very difficult to avoid the exchange of queens.
Yeah, but how you want to exchange the queens?
Just
queen c3, you mean?
Yes, yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, but queen c3, don't forget that this endgame, it's not so clear. After training the queens on c3, I have bishop a3, bishop b2. c3 pawn is lost. And then the question...
This I'm gonna make a draw, most probably. That's all right.
Most probably,
E4. Yeah, this is a draw, David.
Yeah, should be. But black to move. Black to move.
Yes, we have to avoid this change of queens, which is crucial. Without
Very
queens,
nice.
it is just a draw.
Yeah, very nice structural move, guys. Okay, let's. Yeah, I'll help a bit.
G5.
And yeah, let's. Yeah.
Why do we play the move G5? David, why do we play the move G5?
To open the king. We have played G5 because now white has very unpleasant to make very unpleasant choice because if white takes on G5 or pushes F5, then E5 pawn is very weak.
Yeah, this is deadly.
Yeah.
We cannot play the move F5. This is gonna be just a game
Yeah.
over.
And if we leave like that and make some move, black wants to take on, like for example in the game, white played here bishop b1 just to explain our subscribers. White bishop b1 is what can happen after bishop b1. Black takes on f4.
Yes, we're gonna see next bishop on b1, but I think bishop b1 looks a bit too passive, no?
Passive, but it makes sense. The idea of bishop b1 actually is to play queen c2. Because after playing g5, the white realize that maybe it's chance for white to get some con-play. Because this game was played also between two very, very strong players.
Yes.
And Artur Yusupov was white and Alexander Belyavsky black. So two very, very strong, great players. So, and this bishop b1, it's not, actually, it's bad move, but over the board we can't know it without calculation, and it makes sense. Yeah, but the question
there is a direct idea. Yeah, there is a direct idea. This is making sense. As usual, opposite color bishop means we're searching for ways to attack.
Exactly.
The side that attacks is usually the side that will be doing much better. By the way, this queen on c3, I think, is normal in this position, but then there is queen a4, so we would like to enter to d1, and in case of queen on b3, which looks like you're running, but then we have this first to take and then to go queen on d4, so that's queen is entering.
Yes,
that's it.
Best, but endgame also, for example, just as example, after queen c3, for example, I take on f4 first, or first I think I'll take on f4 to force you to take with pawn, because here maybe you could take with queen, king, and then push e4. But and now bishop a3, and c3 pawn you can't protect anymore. And the question is if this position is holdable or not, this endgame. But I agree that queen a4 is should be practical and maybe objectively stronger move. But also this endgame.
No, but it's a draw,
so
David.
Easy.
This is easy draw.
Easy draw, you mean?
Yeah, very easy.
Because you have some conflict.
No, because you just wait. There is nothing you can do. So.
Because I can't. Maybe because I can't run to the queen side with my king. I can't run to the c5.
It's too far.
And f7 is weak. Yes.
So maybe this is a draw. Yeah. This is a draw. Most opposite color bishop positions are a draw somehow, but it's difficult to get the opposite color because how you change the queens, this is the main thing. And bishop b1 looks normal, I agree, but here queen on d4, very nice move. So queen is getting now very active. The king on g3 is in big danger. Queen on c2, still the threat of a checkmate, but we have the bishop c5. Cool move.
Yeah, it's concrete. It's very concrete, but after some calculation, we can understand, realize that black's attack is much stronger. Even though that white is taking pawn with check. But
yes, king e8. Nice play, nice play. We are sacrificing the pawn, and we continue with our strategy. Opposite color bishop. It means the attacker usually wins. So we give the pawn. We continue with our main strategy. Very, very nice decision by Alexander Belyavsky, who was one of the best chess players of his time. I think the best position he had, it was number 3 in the world behind Kasparov and Karpov in the 80s. So we have the check. Now white should aim for this perpetual check. Queen a8. Yes, white is aiming for that. Also Yusupov. Very, very good. He was back then one of the top chess players. There was a match also between the Belyavsky and Yusupov to qualify for the match against Karpov in the candidates. So next, queen f2, king h3. Now how to win the game? to win the bishop probably leads to a perpetual check, no? David, what do you think? Check, check, maybe we even win the bishop. So yeah, this is just a draw, so check. Check from e7, unexpected. I think white has missed this beautiful check. g5 has to be played in case of king h5. We have the checkmate on the board, actually quite funny. g5 and queen takes. I think you feel that there is such a big difference in this opposite color bishop positions. The attacker is always having the upper hand. The defender having this bishop on an empty position because the bishop is doing nothing. The bishop is not supporting the defense. And this is the trouble of this opposite color positions. Now we have this kind of queen takes b1. So Bilavsky is calculating that there is no perpetual check. Let's see if there is. Indeed, there is no perpetual check, so obviously piece up for black. It is completely winning, and the game is finishing with this exchange of queens. And yeah, there is no reason to play this position, so Yusupov resigns. Very, very nice sample. I think that even positions that are looking like a draw, we should still search in these positions for ways of attack in case we have opposite color bishops, and this wonderful g5 idea breaking the pawn structure of white. There is no way to change the queens, and this means trouble for white because it's hard to defend. It's very, very difficult to defend in case we cannot change the queens. So as we saw very quickly with this beautiful pawn sacrifice, black is winning. Bishop c5, queen on d4. It is a game over. So, David.
Go back, Arkady, just a second. Can we go to starting position?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, just to explain our spectators why it's so hard position also. For example, after g5, and strong. For example, here, the best move according engine is to take on g5, which is very strange move. It's very artificial move. But okay, it's already clear that how bad is the position is fg. It's best move, and according engine just even plus. But I think
I think I would never play this. It looks so bad to take on g5. The e5 will be gone. I mean, this looks horrible.
It's just I wanted to mention it that engine's evaluation is just even plus because of fg, but okay, fg, hg, and for me the position looks like just lost. Yeah, for me, for example, this bishop b1 looks much more logical than fg.
Bishop b1, okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, difficult positions. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you very much, David, for providing us this beautiful samples on positional chess. I think by the samples we could learn some things. Thank you very much, David.
To watching us, to your spectators, your subscribers. And yeah, join us to WeChess, and I hope to see you soon again.
Yes, David, we also hope to see you.
To be with you.
Yes, and David, you have to join us more often. So we have some kind of educational streams here. Again, to all of you, thank you very much for watching, for having the nice chat. I hope it was useful. I think David prepared excellent positions that we could learn from. And that's, like we say here on VChess, one smart move at a time. So every day we try to get a little bit better. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I will be back today evening with the usual stream. Thank you, David, once again for being with us. I hope next time will be soon, that we once again will be together looking at the beautiful game of chess. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Arkady.
See you next time. Thank you.
Have a nice week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.